14.20 is filled with champion changes, as there are 18 unique champs being adjusted, and we've also got a bunch of item changes to follow up from the massive changes in 14.19. But first, now that the item overhaul has been live for over a week now, what do you guys think so far? Do you like the lesser amount of damage in the game, or did you prefer the way that it was before the changes? Let us know down in the comments below. And did you know mastering your champion is going to boost your win rate by a massive 9% on average? That's why at SkillCapped we offer Smurf commentaries. Simply just select the champion that you want to master and get guides from challenger experts teaching you how to play your champion in the exact rank you are stuck in. You're even guaranteed to have all of your questions answered by that very same challenger expert. After that, take one of our 5 brand new courses that teach you the secrets to carrying as a top laner, a jungler, mid laner, AD carry, and support. And it really doesn't stop there. We have new Season 14 courses on macro, wave control, trading, setting and hotkeys, CSing, vision, mechanics, low elo mistakes. Oh, and the list just goes on and on and on. The best part, though, is you can try all this out completely risk-free, since if you don't rank up while actively using SkillCapped, you're going to get your money back and there's no questions asked from our end. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below right now to get the rank that you have always dreamed of. So as always, we're going to start off the video by covering the item and rune changes first, and then we're going to dive into all the champion changes after that. Yuntao Wild Arrows is the first item being adjusted, and Riot has it listed under the buff category. Cost is being heavily reduced from 3,200 to 2,950, while the AD is down by 5, and the passive damage is also being reduced from 70 to 60. The Collector is also getting buffed, with its cost dropping all the way from 3,400 to 2,950. However, its AD is down from 60 to 50. Huge buff here to the Collector, and this should really help out some of the struggling ADCs from 14.19 like Kate, Aphelios, and Samira. Nimbus Cloak is the only rune that's getting buffed, as its movement speed will be going up from 12 scaling to 35% to 14 scaling to 40%. Now all the other item changes are nerfs from here on out, and Thornmail is getting changed so that its armor is down by 5 and its bonus armor scaling on its passive is dropping from 15 to 10%. Base damage on the passive is up though from 15 to 20. A pretty minor nerf to Static Shiv, with its attack speed being lowered from 40 to 35%. Grasp is going to be adjusted this patch so that it's less effective on non-tanks. The base heal is being removed, however the max health scaling on the heal is going up. Max health per stack is dropping from 7 to 5 for melee champs and from 4 to 3 for ranged. Liandry's junglers won't be clearing quite as quick in 14.20, as the monster damage from Faded Ashes is going down from 25 to 20. Liandry's itself is also receiving a similar nerf, with its monster damage cap going from 50 to 40. Luden's is going to be hit with a pretty solid nerf to its passive damage, as the max single target damage is going from 210 down to 150, while the AP ratio drops from 14 to 10%. Storm Surge is also getting nerfed, as its AP is dropping from 95 to 90, while passive damage takes a hit, going from 150 to 125, and the AP ratio on passive is down from 15 to 10%. A lot of the strongest mages from 14.19, like Syndra and Vex, have been really liking the Luden's into Storm Surge combo, so they're getting nerfed a solid amount with these item changes. So moving on to all of the direct champion changes now. First up, we've got a few buffs to Aphelios. Base health will be increased from 580 to 600. Passive bonus AD is going up from 4.5 scaling to 27 to 5 scaling to 30. Caitlyn is getting a few minor buffs, with her attack speed ratio going from 0.61 to 0.625, and her Q secondary damage is being increased from 50 to 60%. Kate will also really be liking those buffs to the Collector, so she's going to be in a much better spot for 14.20. Some much needed Corki buffs are on the way, with his Q mana cost dropping from 80 flat to 60 scaling to 80. W damage is now going to have a 150% bonus AD ratio. E mana cost is going down from 50 scaling to 90 to 50 scaling to 70. Lee Sin is going to to be receiving a boost to his overall damage as his base AD is going up from 66 to 69. Some max health damage is going to be added on to Pantheon's W as it's being increased from 5 scaling to 7% to 6 scaling to 8%. Riot's changing how Riven's Q is going to scale for next patch as they're going to be boosting the base damage significantly. However, they are changing the scaling on Q from a total AD ratio to a bonus AD ratio. Tryndamere is going to be receiving a few base stat buffs with his attack speed ratio going from 0.67 to 0.694, and his armor growth is going to be increased from 4.3 to 4.8. Now, I'm sure every one of you are going to be pleased to know that both Yasuo and Yone are getting buffed for this patch, as Yasuo is going to have his Q crit damage increased from 80 to 90%, while our bonus armor pin on crit is up from 50 to 60%. Yone is going to be receiving the 1 buff with his Q crit damage going up from 80 to 90%. Now on to the champion nerfs now. First up, we have Dr. Mundo, who's going to be losing some damage on his E as max health to bonus AD conversion is dropping from 2 scaling to 3.4% to 2 scaling to 3%. Jhin has been a top 3 ADC for a while now, so he's going to be getting nerfed with his AD growth going down from 4.7 to 4.4, and our base damage is being lowered, but only at rank 2 and rank 3. Mord's isolated Q won't be hitting as hard for this patch, as its damage is being lowered from 40 scaling to 60% to 30 scaling to 50%. It's about time we see some Poppy nerfs, as she's been in the OP tier for support for quite some time now. Passive cooldown is going up, Q monster cap is being increased, and E base damage is going to be dropping by 10 at all ranks. Shyvana has been one of the better solo Q junglers in 14.19, so Riot does have a few nerfs lined up for her, with W movement speed AP ratio going from 12 to 10%. Our E ground DPS is being lowered by 20 damage at all ranks. Our damage AP ratio is being reduced from 130 to 80%. Singed will be receiving a nerf to his armor growth as it's being reduced from 4.7 to 4.2. Skarner is going to be losing some max health damage on his passive as it's dropping from 5 scaling to 11% to 5 scaling to 9%. E damage max health scaling is also being reduced from 8 to 6%. Now, we do have a couple of nerfs for Udyr as his QQ monster bonus damage is going down from 20 to 15. E movement speed is being lowered from 30 scaling to 65% to 25 scaling to 55%. RR monster damage is also being reduced from 10 scaling to 50 to 5 scaling to 35. Udyr is going to be negatively influenced by the Faded Ashes and Leandra's changes, so he's getting tagged pretty good for 14.20. Not necessarily a surprise though, considering we've had Udyr in the OP tier for quite a while now. And for the final champion change of the patch, we have probably the oddest of the bunch, as Veigar of all champs is actually going to be nerfed with his WAP ratio dropping from 70 scaling to 110% to 60 scaling to 100%.
Okay guys, one last thing. Our rank up guarantee is absolutely insane. It's kind of like signing up for the gym and then just getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with the top players, the rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb as easy as possible. If you're ready to level up, just visit skillcapped.com and literally see the difference.
So that is what we're looking like as we head into patch 14.20, which is going to be hitting live servers this upcoming Wednesday, October the 9th. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.